You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
Guys, as always, I've grabbed these from Reddit Snark. Yes, PeterMonn is a deeply amoral person, devoid of all empathy. He would let his mother suffer on her deathbed. Oops, he already did that. And he put his perfectly healthy dog Griffin down so all Lex could move in. Who in the hell does that? We're in the finish line for Peter that started in January 2022 when he uploaded a video in quite a manic psychotic state in which he told he was mentally unwell, wasn't sleeping, and was feeling seizure-ish, all this resulting to his accident weeks later. We're now seeing what the rest of his life looks like. Some would argue that his adult life, such as his miserable existence, is ended in 2008 when he quit working and moved to his mother's condo. The end for Peter is his never-changing present moment, with the empty content he consumes, the empty calories he devours, and soon an empty nest after Alex's departure next year. While Peter is living in the world of his making that he deserves, it doesn't have to extend to his audience. That he continues to drag new people to his unsettling, disturbed life and manages to retain some who might think he's not harmful. I maintain that he is dangerous. His skewed and hollow world can be damaging. His comments section attests to that. It's not that deep, but it can be for the few who won't notice the malignancy. Peter has no depth, no truth, no morals, and gives nothing but will take everything. In the long run, watching this malignant narcissist in all his grifting glory is a net negative for anyone and everyone. At the very least, he is not good for anyone's mental health. There are other daily vloggers on YouTube, vloggers that don't drag their audience to never-ending empty promises and straight-up misery. Don't even get me started on his animal abuse. But sadly, I will. Let's dive into this, shall we? Background: Griffin was a Jack Russell Terrier that Larry Monn, Peter's father, bought for Peter when Peter was 2 years sober as his amends recovery dog. Peter had Griffin for 11 years and was given him when Griffin was 6 weeks old. Peter will rarely say Griffin's name, and that's interesting because he has no problem saying Clifford's name or Duncan's name after both dogs have gone over the Rainbow Bridge. Griffin was 11 when he was put down. Clifford was Peter's childhood dog, and one of the reasons he was given Griffin, apparently, as an amends dog, as he treated Clifford so poorly when Clifford was alive. Clifford died at 18. Duncan is PP's real name. Duncan is Alex's dog, who was given to Alex by Alex's ex-boyfriend. Gigi believes this is the correct spelling of Duncan from our investigations. We could be wrong, but this is how I'll spell it moving forward. Timeline. Circa 1994, Peter Pan Mose is forced into sobriety after crashing into the Perkins. He's 22 and a half, y'all. Circa 1996, Larry Monn gives Peter an amends recovery dog, Griffin. Griffin is 6 weeks old. Peter is 24. According to his video, he got Griffin 2 years after he got sober. Or circa 1999, Suicide Birds and Seahorses blog says he was given Griffin 9 years ago from when the blog was posted, which is August 2008, the month he went on a first date with Alex. August 2008, Peter and Alex's first date. October 2008, Peter has Griffin put down. June 2009, Peter proposed to Alex less than a year after they begin dating, the day before Alex's birthday. Timeline doesn't gel with me because if he got Griffin circa 1996 or even 1997 and had him for 11 years, that takes the timeline to Griffin's death, occurring in October 2007 or at worst, October 2008. Alex and Peter met in August 2008. Now let's dive in, and I'll try to keep this in chronological order of Peter's own words. Suicide Birds and Seahorses blog, posted August 2008, the month Alex and Peter go on their first date. 9 years ago, my father bought me a Jack Russell puppy, Griffin. 6 months later, I had an extremely aggressive dog who, although absolutely adorable and intellectual, ruined everything I owned and bit me on regular occasions. He continues to bite me, as most of my friends and family know. But I made a commitment to this little guy, and I don't think he knows better most of the time anyway. He just can't help it. He doesn't learn. And many vets, dog specialists, and psychologists have told me to put him to sleep. But everyone knows, in my pursuit to start a true no-kill animal shelter, that is just not an option. So he and I will be together. Forever, probably. Yes, even the JRT Club of America says, most behavioral problems are due to a lack of companionship, discipline, activity, and exercise. He says he virtually ignored Clifford growing up. As Griffin was his amends dog, he was supposed to do the opposite of what he did with Clifford. Guys, I will be leaving the Reddit link and Guru Gossip links so you can read this as well. This is unreal. Peter shouldn't own animals. And now, onto the petty pool drama. This man-child is throwing a fit over pool. Jesus Christ, grow up, Peter. I cannot believe this a-hole has the nerve to post a video going on and on about the pool closing too early again on tonight of all nights. Sarasota, Florida is about to get slammed in an hour, and it's actually pretty rough there already, and this is his big gripe in life. First of all, who gives a shit if there's water in the pool? They aren't putting in the chemicals. They aren't treating it. They aren't servicing it. It's closed. What does he mean? He's bringing up the water still be in it at the HOA board meeting. They didn't say they were closing it, BC. The company had to get out there and drain it. He's lying about that. He never mentioned that until now. He's saying they said they had to close it, BC. The company would be there to drain it. I've never heard him say that till tonight. He's acting like they're doing something shady, not being transparent. Like they're doing it just to annoy him. Peter, if you want to swim daily all year, join the YMCA. Seriously? Also, it's a lie that it's only $600 a week. I've talked to the pool PPL at the pool I go to at a condo place, and he said it's $3,000 to $4,000 a month. They are one of the most transparent HOAs I've ever heard of. He said so himself in the past. They send him pages full of every breakdown of every little thing. I cannot believe he walked down there and threw a hissy fit today and filmed himself doing a thumbs down at the pool being closed. I have close ties to Sarasota and to many PPL in Florida. On behalf of them, Peter, I also can't believe that this idiot talked about a swimming pool. UTF people are losing their homes, animals, and everything they had, and this fool is worried about his HOA. I am in California, and I'm sad and horrified about this hurricane and feel so helpless. How can he even not discuss this? Peter, take your pool dingy and do something creative with it, like shove it up your ass. On his main channel, he threatened his haters more than once tonight, mentioning specific states, saying he's in his I don't give a fuck era, and there's a lot of families about to get special Christmas cards and Christmas letters this year. Then he says, if you know what I mean, and if you don't, you better hurry up and figure it out. Peter, blow it out of your ass, you old fool. Absolutely insane logic. He can rip people to shreds, scream and rant at them, but people can't go on Reddit and talk about his behavior. Good luck with your takedown, crazy person. It's at 15 minutes in when he says, as an influencer, it's a lot when you realize a hater is following your sister-in-law and your mother-in-law and PPL in your life on social media, BC. Then you have to figure out what they are up to and dig into their background. Then he says, except I don't really have time to go to Northern England, New Jersey, North Carolina. I thought him mentioning those places was him letting certain haters know I know who you are and I know where you're located. No, I know that's what he was doing. It was very obvious. I'm sure our recent posts about the booze situation is what has him all fired up again. I just don't care. I actually thought it was tasteless that he would even mention NC with the devastation there right now. Classless. Bet he would threaten to track them down if they lived in Cancun or Miami Beach. Firstly, any reaction to Peter, positive or negative, feeds his need for attention. Free thought, opinions, discussions about his problematic behavior is, and always will be, challenge fuel. If you challenge a person like him in any way, you'll face a litany of lunacy. They always attempt to control the narrative and force people into submission by tantrums, raging, accusing, threatening, shaming, blaming, bullying, lying, crying, fake apologies, projecting, mocking, manipulating, smearing, slander, silent treatments, denial, and a whole host of other forms of tyranny and abuse. These shapeshifters have primitive coping skills and zero self-awareness. We can and should expect them to act out when people use their own brains. When they can't control people, horrible and sometimes dangerous behavior happens. He hasn't changed and will not change. Watch what Peter does, not what he says. The delusional thinking and grandiosity is palpable. He, overtly and covertly, implies that people have issues and should stay off social media, their phones. But where does he spend all his time? This is an example of his complete lack of self-awareness, grandiose sense of self. It's a feeble attempt to control people by mocking and making them feel inferior and shameful because they seemingly can't control their actions. It isn't funny. What is rather absurd and amusing is his inability to control himself. Who is the person acting bizarre on social media? Who has 7 YouTube channels? Who has behaviors that seem out of control? Who seems obsessed with haters, wanting to send letters to family members, stating he knows where they work, who their husbands are, and announcing the state they allegedly live in, etc. He wants a high amount of emotional reactions. Take emotional thinking out of it and watch the video with objectivity. He is the opposite of goodness and grace. Ranting and raving is the opposite of peace. Loudly shouting something doesn't mean we should listen. Anyone can yell absurdities. Whether he thinks people have issues or wonders if they're okay has absolutely nothing to do with the elephant in the room. That is, his unchecked narcissistic behavior and distorted sense of reality. He lives in darkness. He is unstable. The more education around narcissism, the more we can protect ourselves from his kind. The thought of this man being a therapist at one time is frightening. Here's a letter from Peter Monn's lawyer. Please stop hurting my client's fees. Mr. Monn is very upset about this, even though he has made a living off of ripping people to shreds and attacking them every chance he gets. He has lost sleep over the threads on Reddit, and this has taken a toll on his nap schedule, and he can't enjoy his very favorite TV shows. Our client holds himself to the utmost standards and considers himself the king of YouTube. He's a very sensitive person, and all of his grannies will tell you that. These legal fees are cutting into his junk food fund. I hope this doesn't ruin your Christmas. Signed, a fake lawyer from Mr. Monn's tacky cozy front porch. His take on the Menendez brothers, my mantra for Peter, is look at what he does, not what he says. If his grannies used their own brains and disconnected from his madhouse matrix, they could conclude that he tells everyone where he is going. He puts everything out there. Would anyone do this if they had a bunch of stalkers? Yet he continues this manipulation to gain attention. Paranoid and psychotic people also believe they're being stalked 24/7. Usually psychotic people will need inpatient hospitalization. Peter needs a higher level of psychiatric treatment. If Peter has a hangnail, he expects undying empathy, support, and sympathy. But is he capable of real empathy for victims of abuse? Absolutely not. Rabid is the perfect word to describe his behavior. It's extremely off-putting. Peter is devoid of emotional empathy. He only has reflexive and cognitive empathy. He is incapable of truly putting himself in other people's shoes. He couldn't be an effective therapist. His lack of emotional empathy, lack of self-awareness, and primitive coping skills would allow him to project his problems onto his clients, not unlike what he does to his audience. Peter is too dumb to understand complex ideas about morality. Peter doesn't have the capacity to understand that two things can be right at the same time. Were the Menendez brothers victims? Yes. Are their dead parents victims? Yes. He takes on a which crime is worse mentality. Since murder to him is worse than SA, then the brothers are more wrong than their parents. He's short-sighted and simple-minded. The case is way too complex for him to rationalize. Same with GRB. This way of thinking for him really comes as a surprise to me because he doesn't apply it to himself as per usual. In the situation when he feels people are cyber-stalking him, he feels entitled to publicly admit to doing the same. He looks them up on social media, finds their places of business, looks at the pictures, their friends, family, and children, and then publicly talks about/warns, threatens them on videos about what he'd like to do with the information. Here, Peter is always the victim, and others' crimes against him are always worse. So they are the bad guys, and Peter is justified in whatever way he sees fit. But to the contrary, he doesn't see it that way when true victims, who are not him, retaliate or seek their own vigilante justice. He's a hypocrite, and even more so, he's immoral. Speaking on the fact that Peter is immoral, on Kiwi Farms it was stated that Alex said in a follow-up interview that Peter didn't have a seizure. The comments on Kiwi Farms are priceless and very accurate as well. Can't stand PeterMonn TBH. He's basically a white trash version of Michael Buckley. He claims to be all about the positivity, but in reality is as much of a bottom feeder as all the rest of the trailer park vloggers. I'd like to reiterate how much I can't stand this whiny queen PeterMonn. Bottom feeding, white trash parrot. Hilton wannabe. The difference there is John had reason to believe Peter was a legit creep. Shane just made a few unfortunate jokes he regrets. PeterMonn dates way below his age and had a Tumblr full of barely legal porn while in his 50s. Peter is absolutely a sanctimonious sack of shit who would call out and tongue-lash somebody for using this language. He's a big old hypocrite. The John Cookian shit that went down got a lot of people in his corner, but his feud between Dustin Daly and Petty Page shows how much of a little bitch he is. He is definitely not the internet's jolly uncle, even though he tries to portray himself that way. But it's just how callous he is with killing a man and destroying their family. You don't just go on YouTube and be like, LOL, missed you guys. Oh my God, it's been such a crazy story. Can't wait to tell you first thing when I get back. Like Jesus Christ. If you can't even mention the grieving family, don't even mention the incident at all. You're not the victim here, Peter. They are. Yet he acts as if he was the victim to the incident, and not the cause of the thing in the first place. Most normal people would use the platform as a holy shit, I'm so sorry to the family, I'm so fucking sorry route, because it's traumatic as fuck. But not Peter, I guess. He just can't wait to pop his fan and tell you how bad it was for him. You two hit the nail on the head. As far as I know, Monn is one of the only gossipers who has white salt and pepper hair, which proves that maturity doesn't come with age. That makes his fake friendship with AL really weird to me. He's obsessed with a 26-year-old girl child, and she's fearful of him in some way. He's also a life coach? What? Someone like him isn't qualified to give life advice and uplift others. I seriously doubt it was a seizure and more of streaming or recording videos or doing something on his phone. A seizure seems a convenient way to get out of trouble. The whole PeterMonn thing is gross. He had numerous times in the 100s recorded driving more distracted than Chantal in Minneapolis which has 4x the population. I think quite a few people are seeing the wood through the trees and thinking how fucked up the situation is. To not even say, thank you for thinking of Brad's family. Brad's stepson was in the car with him when he died BTW. His attitude after frankly murdering someone is just psychotic, and I think as time goes on, people are going to actually get unnerved by it. It honestly fucks me up thinking he just wakes up and switches on the camera acting like a buffoon, knowing a mile or so away, a widow wakes up with her children knowing their family is dead, and there's no shred, even a slither of guilt. That is what actually makes me feel sick, and to know he has a bunch of women just praising him, knowing he fucking killed one person, nearly 3, revolts me. Yet he talks about a dog, which is sad, but nothing of his actions actually fucking wild. The husband said in some follow-up media that he did not have a seizure. Oh, I did not know he had been deleting videos. What a coward, at least own up to it. The husband, too, was deleting a lot of stuff, so something shady was going on. PeterMonn seems to inject himself into any and all drama. He's like that one granny in the neighborhood with a police scanner and a pair of binoculars, always ready to weigh in on the gossip. He's got himself some corn-fed groupies from the flyover states. When did sitting at home, making videos to expose people, become the supportive content of YouTube?
You two, all of you, I want you out of that gulag, one out of school, you understand? I don't want to see another catty body. Oh, all of you, stop it now. Did you understand what I said? Oh, Lacey. Take your hands off her, young man. Put your clothes back on, my dear. Out, I said, out. Didn't you hear me? Don't touch it. Falling now.
If you find anything that doesn't look like fecal remnant.
I want the entire pool scrubbed, sterilized, and disinfected. Here it is.
Oh.
It's no big deal.
Oh.
If you ladies leave my island, if you survive recruit training, you will be a weapon. You will be a minister of death praying for war. But until that day, you are pukes. You are the lowest form of life on earth. You are not even human fucking beings. You are nothing but unorganized, grabastic pieces of amphibian shit.
Do I make you nervous? Sir! Sir, what? Are you about to call me an asshole? Sir, no, sir! How tall are you, Private? Sir, 5'9", sir! 5'9"? I didn't know they stacked shit that high. You trying to squeeze an inch in on me somewhere, huh? Sir, no, sir! Bullshit, it looks to me like the best part of you ran down to cracking your mama's ass and ended up as a brown stain on the mattress. I think you've been cheated.
Did your parents have any children that lived?
Sir, yes, sir.
I bet they regret that. You're so ugly you could be a modern art masterpiece. Pick them up and set them down, pile. Quickly, move it up. Were you born a fat, slimy scumbag, puke piece of shit, Private Pile? Or did you have to work on it?
Get your ass up there! Do you mean to tell me that you cannot do one single pull-up? You are a worthless piece of shit, pile! Get out of my face! Get up there, Snowball! Quickly! Get your fat ass over there, Private Pile! Oh, that's right, Private Pile! Don't make any fucking effort to get up to the top of the fucking obstacle! If God wanted you up there, he would have miracled your ass up there by now, wouldn't he? Say yes, sir! Get your fat ass up there, Pile! Say yes, sir! Your ass looks like about 150 pounds of chewed bubble gum, Pile, you know that? Say yes, sir! Get up here, fat boy! Quickly, move it out, Pile, move it out! You climb obstacles like old people fuck, you know that, Private Pile? Get up here, you're too slow, move it, move it! Are you quitting on me? Well, are you? Then quit, you slimy fucking walrus-looking piece of shit! Get the fuck off of my obstacle! Get the fuck down off of my obstacle! Now! Move it! I'm gonna rip your balls off so you cannot contaminate the rest of the world! I will motivate you, Private Pile, if it short dicks every cannibal on the Congo!